How's everybody doing? Having a good show so far? Normally Peter Steigerwald's here to do all the corny jokes and introduce everybody and whatnot, but he stayed back at work. He's on his way here actually. He finished up a few extra surprises for you guys. If you know anything about Aspen, we have tons of things that we always do up to the last minute for conventions and whatnot, and he's finishing up a few things that he's bringing with him, so he'll be here later today. If any of you have ever been to our panel, who's been to an Aspen panel before? Show of hands, quite a few. Cool. A lot of new people as well, very cool. Peter always starts our panels for us with an aloha. Means hello, means love, also means goodbye. We'll do it at the beginning of the show, we'll also do it at the end. But if you guys will help me out, Vince led this one last time.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
No, just leave Trump on.
I only did WonderCon this year.
JT, you want to take this one?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is just on the count of three, we're just going to give a nice hearty aloha to just kind of get our spirits up and let everybody out there know that they're missing out by not being here. So 1, 2, 3. Aloha! All right.
There you go.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. We'll do it one more time just to get, just get the engines going. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Aloha!
Very good. Alright, well, once again, you guys have been to our panels. We have tons of great stuff to show you guys, a bunch of cool things to talk about, a lot of really cool announcements. What I'll do, I'll run through all these guys quickly, that way I can do some introductions, and then as we get going through the slides and whatnot, I'll let all these guys talk about all the projects and good things they have coming up. So starting from my left, Vince Hernandez, our editor-in-chief, also the writer of Cares Magic, co-creator Dog with me, writes Vince is pretty much the one I yell at every day of my life, and we get into arguments and fight, all kinds of good stuff. We love each other. Next to Vince, JT Kroll. He's been a mastermind of the Soulfire books for pretty much the last 5-6 years now.
David Wool.
Everybody, David Wool. Next to JT, one of our newest additions to the Aspen universe, Mr. Mike Tabafo. A lot of guys are probably familiar with his work on Zenoscope, a lot of different covers, a lot of great books that he worked on over there. Mike has taken over Soulfire for us, so we're super excited about that. He's doing a great job. His first issue premiered here, and we have some cool stuff to show you with it in the slideshow. Next to Mike, Mr. Joe Benitez. No major introduction needed, creator Lady Mechanica, one of the coolest books around, so we'll be talking about that coming up. Next to Joe, Alex Conant. Alex is currently the artist on Fathom. He's absolutely just killing it on that book. Has a few issues left of this volume. We have some cool news coming up before the next volume of Fathom. With him, next to Alex is Beth Sotelo. Beth is currently coloring Fathom. She's also coloring Broken Pieces for us, also coloring a bunch of different covers. She's just doing tons of great stuff for us. So thank you, Beth. Next to Beth, Mr. David Schwartz. You've known David for quite some time. He wrote a few books for us, an Ember showcase book, wrote Fathom Blue Descent, and we debuted his Idolized, brand new property that David created. Idolized came out a few weeks back. Issue number 1's on the way. We have a lot of great stuff to show you with that book, and we have a cool exclusive here, but we'll be talking about Idolized shortly. Next to David, another new addition to the Aspen stable, Mr. Jonathan Marks. Jonathan did one of our Soulfire Despair books for the big Soulfire project we have going on right now. He has a new project coming up, which we'll be announcing, and you guys, you'll definitely want to see what he has coming on the way. So next to Jonathan is Mr. Oliver Nove. Very happy to see Oliver here. On a side note, Oliver, glad you're with us and glad everything went okay with you, man. Very cool. Oliver is working on our current volume of County Volume 2. Issue 3 just came out. He's working on issue 4 right now. And then also has a few cool things on the way that we're actually talking with, hopefully, that you can see in the future. So a lot of that coming up. Next to Oliver, Mr. Tony Parker. Tony is also on one of our newest books, Dead Man's Run, a book that we're doing with Valhalla Motion Pictures, Gail Andrews' company. Very cool book that I have some really great stuff to show you. And last but not least, Mr. Mark Roslin. Mark Roslin, honestly, the glue of our company, handles all of our production work, keeps Peter in order. Created Broken Pieces. We have another new project coming up from him later next year. Pretty much anything and everything you see from Aspen, Mark has his hands in, or created, or did the logos, or did the design, or something. So definitely one of the backbones of Aspen. Next to Mark, David Wolf. David took over the Fathom series for us. He's currently finishing up Fathom Line 4. He also did all of the executive assistant Iris books for us. Has a few new projects on the way that we'll be talking about. And then scattered in the audience, we have quite a few other people. Josh Reed's in here. Josh in the back. Josh, another one of our truly unsung heroes, handles all the lettering of our books. And anything you see in the Aspen books, lettering, sound effects, all that good stuff, Josh has been doing all that great stuff for us. So we'll get another chair for everybody. We'll see our female. In Incredible Colors, working on a bunch of different projects, and joining us because she's coloring Mike's Soulfire Volume 4 that's coming out right now. So we're really happy to have those two on a team for that. And then I think there's one more person on it, it was Brooke.
Oh, she's right away.
And then Brooke below and everyone who she's been with us for quite some time, helps us out at all of our conventions, and definitely someone who's an asset to Aspen. So that's an introduction of all of us. Let me get cranking on some slides for you, show you some really cool stuff, and then we can get chatting with all these guys about all their projects. So, starting off, we're launching with Soulfire because Soulfire, we had a primer which went over all of Michael Turner's Volume 1 stuff in a nutshell. Summed up all of Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, because all our books go in volumes. And we were trying to give people just a Cliff Notes version of what the Soulfire universe was. That led into the introduction of the next series, which all of this, Search for the Light, which JT, help me out.
Yeah,
Search for the Light.
At the end of Volume 3, Malachi disappears, and he's kind of the glue, the balance that keeps magic in order, and everything's in a state of chaos, if you will. And each issue focuses on one of the different masters of the Soulfire universe, so we get a chance to learn more about their characters and how they're dealing with his loss and wondering what's happened to him and how they could possibly get him back. We also introduced a brand new character named Soren, who is one of the a new master coming on the scene because he's the son of Arlen, the king that was killed in Volume 3. Just a great crew of artists working on each project. They each work well as like a standalone book, a standalone story, self-contained, but all part of this kind of bigger tapestry that we're building that all culminates in the Grace special that all then launches right into Volume 4.
All of these books start at the end of June. We've been releasing one a week for the Diamond Light series. It went Hope, Faith, Power, Grace, Despair. Despair book as well. Yeah, so each one of these will be coming out for 5 weeks. These are all the con-exclusive covers that we did. A few of these aren't even out in stores yet because they come out middle of this month, but we released them all early here, so if you guys stop by the booth, you can grab all these exclusive covers and get the entire set of the mini-series, which, as JT was saying, all of it leads up to the launch of Soulfire Volume 4, issue number 1, which this is in stores the first week of August, but Mike totally worked his tail off to get this book done early, and we launched it here. How did that go for you, Mike?
Stressful. Especially for my first book, it was a daunting task, but I definitely learned a lot in the process. These guys are totally helpful. I mean, I worked with a better group.
Well, and definitely, Mike, after you finished up the book, I know, yeah, you definitely saved us, I believe, the last week or so. How did that last week work out for you with getting these colors done?
It was kind of the same thing Mike said.
Well, yeah, definitely everyone here, Vince, we were up, Oz and I getting this book edited, getting it done, talking to the printers, making sure that we were able to premiere it for you guys here. We did a bunch of exclusive covers and everything, but Soulfire number 1, we just couldn't be more excited with this volume 4. It's sort of a dark tale, right, with Grace, because she essentially succumbs to the chaos of the magic. So now the one person who has always championed with Malachi, if any of you guys know the story, and tried to bring Mal to become the Songster, the bearer of the light, now the one person who's always depended on the most is his most vicious enemy in this entire series, and he has to try to stop her and save her without actually killing her. You know, we'll have to see how that works out.
It'd be like watching Obi-Wan Kenobi turn to the dark side and go after Luke. So yeah, we're really blowing everything out with this volume. We dig into the mythology of the magic itself and the Soulfire universe. One of the best parts about the Soulfire books, for me, creatively, this has been kind of building the mythology and the worlds and the characters we're dealing with. And this book encapsulates almost everything we've done before, but also gets to the real core of the magic and what the foundations of it are. And it's just also a killer epic battle extravaganza, and Mike's going to get to draw a lot of cool stuff, so he's going to be busy.
The greatest thing about this book, which I thought was really cool when we were talking to Mike about taking over Soulfire, was that this is the first time in the history of Aspen that we've redesigned one of our main characters. So it's not a huge drastic change, but it was still something that really is affecting in the book that's going to be long lasting. How did that redesign? What do you think, Chris? Cool? Couldn't have all been.
No. It wasn't stressful.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Redesigning Grace was awesome. Like when you guys first approached me with it, I was like, I thought they were joking. Like that. What do you really want me to do? But it was really an honor to come into the company and have it put so much trust on my shoulders. It was humbling. Like, wow, this thing Michael Turner created. You know, it's hard to take what he did and make it more interesting. But again, we worked together. I don't know how many concept sketches we did, but we're still going to even evolve the character further. So this is what you see here is Grace isn't done changing yet, but it's definitely fun. That's for sure.
This is one of the exclusive covers that we have here at San Diego for you guys. These are a lot of Mike's new designs. Cover we did for Comic Central for issue #1, so it's definitely been really cool seeing all these new concepts, all these new designs come together. Here's cover for issue #2 that Mike and I did. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for this. It's a huge thing for us. Exclusive cover coming from Elizabeth Torque, which she just finished up for us. So we're really excited. Soulfire is definitely going to be growing by leaps and bounds. We have a lot of big plans for Volume 4. Moving on from Soulfire, Executive Assistant Assassins, which this actually peeled out of Executive Assistant Iris, because when we first introduced that book, a lot of people weren't sure what to expect from it, and it actually became one of our most popular titles. We did a big event last summer called the Hit List Agenda, where we introduced a whole bunch of different executive assistants, and then just from that, Assassins came out, which is our first ongoing. Assassins?
Yeah, we're really excited about this book. Assassins, yeah, he's right, it stems out of EA Iris, and it was really a cool process. I mean, everybody seems to really love this book, and it has a huge mythology, and you can really build on the universe. So when we were talking, and David had already set up the universe for all these multiple characters to kind of be introduced. So for us, it was a no-brainer, and I think if you read Assassins and you continue to read Iris, you'll really get the full encompassing view of what we're going for with this book. But Assassins #1 features Lily, and that's obviously the green-haired girl. She was in the first 2 volumes of Iris, and in this one, it's really a dark tale. Actually, it's funny, I was reading a review last night, and it was a guy reviewer, and he was like, I was offended by the way you were treating this woman in this book. And I was like, well, it's an assassin female book, so I don't know if you're gonna, be able to get around that. But so it's not, it's not PG-13. There's a lot of dangerous overtones. There's murder, there's thrilling action, and there's obviously sexy women. So I recommend you check it out. It's the best assassin book on the market.
Vince just pulls highlights from his Friday nights.
Yeah, exactly. So it should be a good read. Last Friday was really fun. So yeah, check it out. It's our first ongoing, and like I said, we're more than excited about it, and we have some huge plans for this, so we'll actually get into it in a little bit.
Yep. Here's an exclusive cover that Peter Steigerwald did for the show for you guys on this. This book just came out in stores. Here's some of the covers for issue #2 coming up. Cover that Mike DeBaffo did for issue #2. And then there's another actual, this is a retailer instead of cover coming up. And then this cover, first time we're actually showing this. I don't even know if you've seen this cover yet. This is my exclusive cover to issue number 2 that we're doing for a retailer. We're going to be doing a big store signing early next month for it and everything. So we are really happy because a lot of people are really vibing on this book and getting into it. So coming up with Executive Assistant Assassins, it's going to launch into a huge crossover, which David and Vince are working on as we speak, right? The Executives Extinction, right? Right? Do you guys want to talk about Extinction?
Yeah, Dave, you want to have it? Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah, obviously when we had the 2 series announced, it was a no-brainer for us. At some point, we should cross these over. And basically, it's an easy plot. We wanted to introduce every EA we could possibly think of that had already been introduced and new ones to come. And it's basically they're fighting for their lives. It's Executive Extinction, so there's, in the title, you can pretty much figure out what's going on with these EAs. They're being hunted one by one. And it's really exciting because we're going to throw pretty much every EA you've seen up to this point will be in this series, either in David's live issue story, which is extended through EA, Volume 3, which we haven't actually announced, but we just did. And my book, Assassins, so it'll be 5 issues each book, but it'll stem into one huge 10-part storyline, which for us, that'll be the largest crossover we've ever done. So I'm looking forward to it, and if you like the EAs, you should like this because it'll include all of them.
Yeah, what's cool about the Assassins book is because it's ongoing, normally whenever we have to plan our books out, they're planned for 6 issues, 8 issues, whatever. But with this, it's like, cool, well, we can do a 2-issue arc with this character if we know it's not going to get too big, or we can do a longer one, like Vince was saying. This particular piece is by Mr. Strong Parker, a cover that he just finished up for a 2-part story that involves this new executive assistant, Sephora, which is sort of a modern-day pirate tale. So this book will be following up the first story arc, and then the Extinction follows that, right?
Yeah, Extinction will be issue 6. Sephora is issue 4 and 5, and it's a really fun modern-day pirate story. And you're gonna love it.
So yeah, and as Vince said, and then Executive Assistant Iris Volume 3 starts up in December with the crossover. Which, David, you ready for Volume 3?
I think we really we wanted to continue Iris' story. I mean, it's a cool thing, I think, to cross over with the Assassins book, just because we're showing a lot of the universe. But at the same time, for a long time, I've wanted to continue Iris' story. Really, it's kind of pretty much from the first story arc, in a sense, because what we did last year, sort of was a diversion in her main story. But at the end of it, she kind of ended up in the same place, which is, there's always someone out there who's trying to control
Full circle.
her. Full circle hasn't worked.
Like perfect.
But I think she is trying to find a way to actually be free without having someone control her. Ironically, she ends up getting involved with the government to kind of achieve the end that she wants to achieve, which probably is kind of a double-edged thing. But I think for the first time in a while, we don't want to show the government as this incredibly bad entity. I think it's going to be a different kind of light. Agents are people too.
So a nice government.
But it should be a fun story. Like working with Vince, we share an office together.
Like slapsticky?
No, the slapstick story is coming up, right?
Okay, yeah, that was coming up.
But yeah, it's going to be really cool. And I think at the end of it, Iris is going to be in a totally different place.
Moving on from Executive Assistant books, Idolized. David?
Yeah.
Idolized?
Well, Idolized, our first issue, issue 0, just came out a few weeks ago, and we also have it downstairs. Issue 1 comes out on August 8th, so just a few weeks away. And Idolized is the story of a girl who has superpowers and who is desperately seeking revenge against the supervillain who wronged her and her family. And the way that she thinks she can get close enough to the supervillain in order to exact that revenge is by competing in and hopefully winning a superhero idol television show, sort of like American Idol, but with superheroes. And so the artwork, the interiors are gorgeous. Micah Gunnell did them, and the covers, we've got covers from, this one is Joe Benitez's cover. We have photo covers with supermodel Rachel Clark, who posed for a whole bunch of photos. That's one of them, and that's our con exclusive cover. And Art Adams did the cover for issue number 1. I don't know if you have that one. There we go. I mean, I've been a huge fan of Art Adams since I was a kid. And so having him do a cover for us, much less one that's this incredibly gorgeous, is just an unbelievable thrill for me.
What's so cool, this is the actual first time Art's ever done a cover for our entire company, which is so cool. We were all excited because we're like, yes!
And it's also the first ever Aspen superhero book to begin with.
Yep.
And this is another one of our cool super model photo covers. And Humberto, this is Kieran Grant's cover, and another Micah Ganell cover. That's our poster, which your local comic shop should have up on the wall somewhere. If they don't, tell them they need to call us and get a copy.
Yeah, they're also available on Aspen Store.
On Aspen Store also.
Yeah, Humberto's didn't make it up. I think.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But we do have a lot of other great covers from tons of different creators that we're reaching out to, involving them in this. They all really like the book and everything, so it's been great getting new people on.
Yep. And Oliver just did a cover for it also, which is gorgeous. Absolutely amazing cover. And it's a fun book, and I hope you'll check it out.
Yeah, issue number 0 just came out last week, and it's pretty much all the photo covers are gone. There's only like 50, a little less than 50 left of the other cover, so it should be out, probably sold out by the weekend. So I'm really excited about that because I put quite a few extras in, so it's cool because we're getting a lot of really good heat around it. I'll try to get them some more, so be on the lookout for this early August, as Dave said, as our first superhero book. Couldn't be more excited. Dave's doing an incredible job. Everyone, there's tons of extra content in the book. You guys will love it, so definitely make sure to check it out. Moving on from Idolized, Homecoming. Another one of our brand new properties, which David, Scott Liddell, Michael Turner did a lot of the original character designs. Dave, you want to give a little 411 on Homecoming?
See, normally Scott Liddell is the one that's
I know.
so I'll see if I can do justice. I don't have Doritos for everybody in the
You
audience.
gotta tell funny jokes though.
Why not really funny?
You gotta tell funny jokes that aren't funny.
Yeah, they're really not funny.
All right, so a skeleton walks into a bar and orders a beer and a mom. Homecoming, it's really nice to see it getting off the ground because it was something that for a couple of years, we had talked to Mike about doing. Different than stories that we normally work on because it's younger, it's like teenagers. And the story centers around this 17-year-old kid, Hunter, who just like plays games at home and is just a regular high schooler until one day when that blonde woman pops up in his backyard and says, naked, yeah, it's controversial, and says this is her house. And then we learned that, she did live there about 10 years earlier, but she was abducted by aliens. And no one knew that at the time. They just thought she disappeared and something happened. But she actually thinks she's an alien. And over the course of the story, we learned, where she was in that time. And her mother was actually abducted with her. And she's part of the story too. And she basically gets attacked by the people who kidnapped her in the first place. And has to... The friends who she's with end up getting injured during that first attack, so she empowers them with the same thing that empowered her, and they have to come back and fight. There's a big attack that's coming.
How does it end?
How does it end? Everybody dies. So it's, like I said, Scott normally pitches it, so I apologize. She is a little rusty over there. But it's a fun story, and we tried to mix, high school elements with like this bigger alien attack, and I think we did a pretty good job with it so far.
A little bit of slapstick.
A little slapstick, pie in the face, stuff like that.
Well, Homecoming actually.
Slapstick joke, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's funny. Homecoming was another book that honestly, Vince worked his tail off getting everybody on that book to finish early because this also doesn't come out until the first week of August, pretty much around the same time Idolized and 1 launches, but we were able to get the first issue done and we premiered it here. So we do have an exclusive cover, which I think I actually just passed for you, but I'll let this run again in a few minutes. But we were able to launch it here for you guys, so if you want to check out Homecoming, we do have it available at the booth. before it's in stores in a couple weeks.
And I think like the part that Scott, he brought like a real cool sensibility to it that we kind of stuck with. Because there was a story that we wanted to do, and then Scott came in and was like, no, that sucks. This is the better way to do it. And he was right about a whole bunch of things. So it was a good collaboration.
Moving on from Homecoming, Valley County Volume 2, which is getting finished up right now. Like I said, Oliver's on issue number 4. This is the continuation that Vince did from Volume 1, which brought County back. If any of you guys are familiar with the Fathom universe, County met a pretty harsh demise at the end of Volume 3. And Vince figured out a really cool way to bring her back, so now she's back. You want to go over County for me?
Yeah, like you said, County died at the end of Fathom Volume 3, so the first step was to bring her back, and we had to figure all that stuff out. But we worked into the mythology, and I think with Volume 2, we really had stride with her as a character because she turns into this very strong, empowered woman, and she basically takes over the ocean in this volume, and we're setting it up for an even larger story come next year. I won't spoil anything or kind of tease too much, but I will say what happens at the end of Fathom County Volume 2 really sets the stage for the largest Fathom universe story we've ever done. And I saw somebody in the crowd had a water story. Who was that? Ah, there it is. That's awesome. Yeah, and I just thought I'd point that out because that looks pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool. So yeah, if you're reading Fathom County right now, or if you haven't read any of them, I recommend checking out the first volume, reading the second volume, and you'll be all prepped for what we think will be the largest Fathom story ever.
We've had a lot of really cool exclusive covers. Here's one that Mike Tadaffa did for us. One thing I'm really proud of, Oliver, just want to say thanks because I know it's tough when a lot of people are working on Fathom books to really include all of the detail and all the organic, the attention you need to put to that to make it look underwater, and you're doing a really good job. So how you been having fun with that, or is that driving you crazy?
I'm having fun with it. Like I said, I'm just happy to be on the book, and County's always been my favorite character. And like I said, it's just when Vince offered me the book, I was just ecstatic. It's a lot of work, but I'm having fun with it.
Cool. Well, issue 3 just came out 2 weeks ago. Actually, no, this past Wednesday. Yeah, two days ago. Just came out 2 days ago, and then issue number 4 is on the way. These are a few of the covers from those upcoming issues. This was the inside of the cover that we used the Michael Turner piece for. Here's the issue 4 cover. So be on the lookout for that. Lady Mechanica, Joe B's Lady Mechanica. You're up, Joe.
You woke him up.
As soon as I'm finished with it.
We have had so much demand for this book. Retailers honestly cannot keep it in stock. So what we did go back to print on issues 0, 1, and 2. By the time we got to issue number 3, I already learned my lesson, and I put several thousand extra copies in there for those guys. But issue 1 and 2 still, sold out of the extras we had originally put. So we did a lot of reprints. When we did do the reprints, Joe hooked up a lot of really cool exclusive covers for different retailers, for different conventions that we've gone to the last couple months. A lot of these are available at the booth or through different retailers. Like this was a Comic Oasis exclusive that Joe did for those guys. This is the Outlaw edition that we have some of these available here that we did for a few of the different Southwest conventions. So a lot of people really love this book. Joe's on issue number 4. As soon as that's done, we'll get it solicited and it'll be on the way. So keep an eye out for that in the near future. This is a really cool cover that I did, which is an exclusive cover for Elite Editions. A few of the issue 3 and a few of the upcoming issue 4 covers for Lady Mechanica, so these are the ones you want to be looking for. Moving on from Lady Mechanica. Kara's Magic issue 6. Here's the cover. This also just came out this past Wednesday. Finished up the first volume of Kara's Magic. Here's an exclusive cover that we have for the issue here. We announced this book just a few months back, Kara's Magic, Death Princess. This is the next Kara's Magic series that's coming out this fall. Want to go talk about Death Princess?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun writing the first volume of Kara's Magic, and fans really liked it. The first 0 issue and the 1 issue both sold out. So when we finished up this volume, I definitely wanted to spin off into kind of the world and see, the characters that we briefly saw in the first volume. We really go back and touch on those guys in this series, and it's just kind of including all the fun things I want to do. I love dinosaurs. There's dinosaurs in this. I love big magical creatures, just big magical creatures. And I love cool character designs. I love dudes that make no sense logically, and these guys are all that. So it's a lot of fun. I managed to keep the whole team